Hi everyone, this is Kim from Laugh and Grow Press. This is a quick video tutorial to explain how to install and use the brush files that we have for sale in our shop. I'm working on CS6, so if any of you following along with CS6, otherwise I am going to point out the differences for the CS2 through 5 in Element users and where you'll find your load brushes and how to load them onto your system. So first off, I'm going to show you, this is your brush presets palette. Make sure you have your brush icon highlighted, your tool, and then your brush presets are right here. Go up to your flyout menu, load brushes, and navigate to where you saved and downloaded your ABR files and hit open. Mine are already open, so I'm not going to hit it. And then they will all fall in at the back of the line. Every new brush that you ever load up always comes in at the end. So you'll find your new ones that you've loaded at the end, okay? And within every set, there's more than one brush. So when you hit load on, say, an alphabet brush set, you're going to get 26 stamps. Okay, and then for you other users, up here in the left-hand corner here is your brush presets palette. And you open it up, and this is everything that you currently have located. Whatever you're seeing on your screen, that's what you currently have loaded. And there's an arrow over on the side here. Go down to load brushes. And again, just navigate to where you've downloaded and saved your ABR files. Hit open, and they fall into the bottom of the line. Back of the line, you'll find all of your brushes that came in, okay? And then when you use brushes, everything that we sell is actually used as a stamp. It's a one-click brush, not the kind that you click and drag to so-called paint with. They are all stamps, so I'm going to refer to them as stamps as to not confuse anybody. So every time you stamp, it will come in as your foreground color right here. Whatever this color is here, that's what you're going to see. So if you know your color first, go ahead and pick it. Okay, perhaps you know what you want. If you do not know what you want, you can go back in and change the color later. These are all vector-based files, and you can change and customize them as you go, as long as they live on their own layer. I'm going to suggest every time you use one of the stamps with the brush tool that it is on its own layer, and that way you can move it about, change the orientation, size, color, opacity of just the brush. If it lives on a layer with something else, that other item will be changed as well. So in order to design efficiently and make sure that you're just making changes to the one item at a time, it needs to be on its own layer. Okay, so right here is what we've got going on right now is one of our banners, banners and seals, and that's a great tool for designing and layering. I'll show you a couple of things that you get with it. There's a banner tool, and when you stamp down, if you'd like it to be smaller, you use your bracket keys right next to your P on the keyboard, left for smaller, right for bigger. You can also use this slider menu, and I find the brackets easier because you kind of can't see what you're doing when you're going on and off like that. This way you can see what you're doing. Okay. And then you have a flag, a one-ended flag and a double-ended flag. So, of course, there's the double-ended one if you're doing something where you want to see both ends. And then we've got the single-ended, and the reason that you only have one end is because you can transform your any stamps and brush. Okay, so if that happens to be not what you want, you'd like the ribbon end to face the other way, you'd either go to Edit, Transform, or Free Transform, or the shortcut for that is Command-T, and that will allow you to size, holding Shift, size proportionately. If you let go of Shift, you can size the other way. And then you've got the little angle here. If you hold Shift down, you can get your open end on the bottom, if you happen to want something coming in at the bottom. Or you can turn it around if you happen to want your ribbon end on that end. Okay, so completely transformable. So that's why there's only one end to that one. And then we've got this one. Remember, bracket down left or right. Okay. And again, these are wonderful for layering. So if you happen to layer on top of it, grab your text tool. And then I've got a new layer, and then you can just layer right on top of here, anything that you want. Okay? And then that can move around independently as well. Okay, so let me show you some more icons. Let me grab my brush tool again and change my, make sure your foreground color is what you want. Maybe we'll change it up a little bit. And then some of the icons that I have, this is the Laugh and Grow icon set. And we've got the balloon, an anchor, a bunch of different ones. So lots of cute little things. This comes with your Simply Announcing template set if you've looked at that in the shop. A nest, remember, bracket down, bracket up. Okay. Some of the things that I like to do with the some of the icons, and again, remember, you can change the opacity. Perhaps I wanted that rocking horse to face the other way. You can do that. If you just wanted it to rock a little bit, whoops, undo. You know, you can angle it, okay? So a lot of different things that you can do. One of my favorite things is the animal ones. I'll show you, for instance, on the giraffe and the elephant are one of my favorites to use because you can use it multiple times. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp down the giraffe. Let's do it over here. And then I'm going to grab another layer, bracket down, and stamp a little one. And you get kind of a family effect, which is really nice. I'm going to make the larger one, change the opacity, and go to Edit. I'm on the little one now. Edit, Transform, Flip. And now you've got it facing there. So some of the nice things you can do with the icons. Okay, and then the same thing you can do with the elephant. Brush icon, grab the elephant, and another layer, maybe a couple of small ones. And again, I'm doing their own layers so that I can move them around independently or perhaps change their opacity to what I might want. Okay? Just a lot of fun things you can do with the icons. There we go. Okay. Now back to using them in conjunction with each other. Perhaps I want to go back up to the banners, and there are some open and solid circles and also squares. So perhaps you want to, I'm going to grab myself another layer and perhaps use it in conjunction with one of the icons, right like that. And that could make for a nice quick look. Okay, so lots of things you can do with using them together, separate, putting text over it, angling, changing the orientation. And then now we're going to move on to how you can use it with the eraser tool. So I know I have drilled in use a new layer, use a new layer, use a new layer. However, that philosophy is going to change when you're using the eraser tool with the stamps. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the eraser tool. If by chance you don't see and cannot click on any of these when you have your eraser tool on, check your mode and make sure your mode is at brush, okay? And then they'll all come back. So let's, I'm going to go back to the brush for 1 second and lay something down to show you how to use the eraser tool. So let's say this stamp actually works much better, obviously, on the very top, but that's okay. So there we go, here's that. And now I'm going to grab my eraser tool, make sure it's on brush mode, and let's grab a monogram. Okay, and then here's what the eraser tool does. The eraser tool takes color away from whatever layer it's on, and it reveals the layer underneath. So if this is not going to lay, even if I flip this around to this nice lighter color, it's not going to lay that color down. It's going to stamp away and delete color from that black as long as I'm on the black layer. So it needs to be on something that it can take color away from. And the bad thing about that is now that it's on that layer, it's going to become one item. So you do want to make sure that you have it spaced where you want, sized where you want, because this is a one-touch thing you cannot undo because they become one item then. Okay, so if I want something like this, I'm going to make sure it's centered. If I happen to stamp over here, I can undo it once while I'm there, but if you happen to go one step further, you know you can't undo that in Photoshop. So I'm going to center this and stamp it here, and it reveals the color behind it. However, now it's one item. It's going to move together. I'm going to change the opacity together, okay? So it is just a black item with that cut out of it. Okay, so a very nice layered look. I love it, but it is touchy because it becomes one item. It deletes it. It has to live on a layer with something else. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to change the color of anything, since now we've gone steps past. Say for instance, this banner right here. If I want it to be a different color, I obviously can't undo far enough back to change this color, so we're going to go about it a different way. What you're going to do is grab your effects, scroll down. I'm sorry, it's off my page here for your vision, but scroll down to color overlay, and then this is your color. This is what it's going to be. So click on that if you don't like it, and you can click on any color you want. Okay? Anything that your heart desires. If you happen to know your web color that you use, put it there. If you want to use one of the color books, use these or the picker. And again, when you come off the palette like this, it gives you the picker. So perhaps you have a photo behind here and you want to use one of the colors from the photos. This is a real great way to get a cohesive look, is to use your eyedropper. Okay? So there. Any of that. So pick any color you want. And that's how you change the color. And you can do that anywhere, any icon. These aren't labeled, so it's hard for me to see if this is the horse. Yeah. So you can do it there as well. Again, go to FX, down to color overlay, and then you can pick a color from there. Now the reason that you're not seeing this real bright red, and I will show you in a second, is because I have the opacity changed. So I've got this great dark red right here that I'm not seeing, but once I hit OK, you notice that my opacity was down on that gray one. So you can put it back up if you change your color. Okay, I think I've covered everything. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to give me a holler. It's kim@laughandgrow.com. I hope you enjoy them. Use them to your the fullest on any application. And I hope to see some of the things that you create. Please feel free to visit my Facebook page and upload anything that you've created. I'd love to see it. Thanks again for visiting, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day, everyone.